right now.
Valisti, you go out! All the junk is useless.
In the mud, in the tsunami.
Everyone is standing, afraid.
They went out.
Why is that? It's not like that here.
Catastrophe in Russia. The disaster sweeps away everything in its path. In Kamchatka, the ground slipped out from under the Russians. Epic footage is already circulating online. Nature's punishment for all the crimes. The power went out, the internet was shut off, and it's absolutely impossible to leave Russia now. Ukrainian drones have encircled enemy territory. This has never happened before. Watch till the end to find out more about this. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Drina Hutskalo, and here are the latest events. Russia is shaking. A powerful earthquake has rocked Kamchatka. The ground is slipping away from under their feet.
A strong earthquake with a magnitude of 7.2 occurred 145 kilometers from Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. A tsunami warning has been issued for the eastern coast of the peninsula.
A rumble, cracking sounds, and shattered nerves. Russia is in shock. Could this be the end of the world at the doorstep?
All emergency services in the region have been put on high alert.
Russians were rushing outside in a panic. The ground was shaking. There was panic and tears in the region.
Everyone is standing, afraid.
They are truly, truly scared. They have gone outside, and once again, there is absolutely nowhere at all for them to run.
The governor of Kamchatka assured that the situation is under control. However, residents are being urged to remain cautious and to be prepared for possible aftershocks.
The Earth has finished its morning exercise. Is that all?
I guess that's all. It all started out calmly.
Lately, earthquakes have been hitting Russia more and more often. On September 13th, Kamchatka was shaken once again.
You may. Girls. Girls. As far as... Hang on!
The epicenter is located in the Pacific Ocean 123 kilometers east of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky.
Immediately after breaking news, the element can cover the reserve with tsunami waves.
Tsunamis at the very, very end.
The Gestan shook in July. The Russians were not ready for this.
At least 1,000 residents of Makhachkala and other cities took to the streets after the earthquake. The epicenter of the tremors, with a magnitude of 5.9, was located in the Caspian Sea.
Do you understand? It will come out over there. A piece of concrete fell out from there. There's a crack over there and over there above the window too. Everything stopped for a while.
According to local telegram channels, the underground tremors were felt even in neighboring Azerbaijan and in the capital of Georgia, Tbilisi. And on top of all these challenges, there were widespread and devastating fires, extensive power outages affecting numerous regions, and completely closed airports causing significant travel disruptions. Furthermore, unidentified and unauthorized drones unexpectedly visited Russian airspace, leading to at least 2 distinct and concerning incidents that raised serious security questions. They reportedly attacked Gazprom Neftekhim Salavat in Bashkortostan, which is 1,300 kilometers from Ukraine's borders. Epic footage after the massive drone strike is already online.
What is this?
That's not right here.
The drones also sent fiery greetings to Volgograd in Russia. It is likely that the local Lukoil oil refinery was the target of Ukrainian fury.
After the explosion, satellite images show signs of burning in the area of Lukoil in Volgograd oil processing. During the attack, the internet was shut down in the city. A carpet plan was implemented at the airport.
The successful operation was also confirmed by the Special Operations Forces.
The Volgograd oil refinery is involved in meeting the needs of the enemy's armed forces. This refinery is the largest producer of fuel and lubricants in the southern federal district of the Russian Federation.
Now, however, its operations have been halted. By the way, Russians are having bad luck not only with cars, but apparently with electricity as well. Importantly, an electrical substation in Rostov burned down completely.
There is no electricity supply in most settlements of the Azov district of the Rostov region.
Official Rostov partially confirms the strike, offering the explanation that the grass is burning. Most interestingly, all of this happened precisely during a raid by friendly drones. Find out more about how our combat drones literally brought Russia to its knees and deprived it of black gold. Don't miss the story. Next.
Production stoppages and disruptions at enterprises, a fuel crisis, a gasoline shortage, kilometer-long lines at gas stations, the introduction of ration cards, and record price increases. The fuel shortage is hitting Russia harder than it is officials' wallets. And it's all thanks to the Ukrainian armed forces drones, which have already knocked out 1/6 of all oil refining in Russia. The crisis arrived even before the end of the year.
Right on the road. I don't even have enough gasoline.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Previously, fuel problems were only observed in the Saratov region and the far east of Russia. Then the shortage was recorded in the Nizhny Novgorod, Rostov and Ryazan regions, as well as in Crimea.
Friends, comrades, is anything working? There's no connection. Telegram isn't working, WhatsApp isn't working. I came to the gas station to fill up, but they said they're out of gasoline. Now they're giving it out by coupons. What do you mean by coupons? What's working? Have we gone back to the Soviet Union?
We've ended up back in the USSR. The gasoline shortage is already happening in almost 20 regions.
We have more problems here. The gasoline issues started after the strike on Kamchatka. So to fill up your car, you have to, wait in line for kilometers. There are 60 to 70 cars at a single gas station. And when you finally get to the front, you pull up and there's no gasoline.
In occupied Donetsk, there's no 95 octane at the gas stations. And fuel prices are much higher than in Moscow itself.
In Donetsk, there's no water. Now, in many cities, there's no gasoline at all, or it's 85 per liter. People just can't get used to it.
Residents of the occupied cities of Ukraine complain about long lines at gas stations and limits on the amount of fuel you can buy at one time with a coupon. For the most part, fuel is unavailable in settlements occupied by Russia since 2014. There is also a gasoline collapse in temporarily occupied Mariupol. Prices are rising rapidly. Huge 2 to 3 hour lines are forming at gas stations. In Sievierodonetsk and Shchastia-Luhansk region, due to the shortage, 2 buses have to share a few trips. Car traders report a massive shortage of gasoline and diesel fuel. Products are being released with a waiting period of 3 to 4 or even 5 to 7 days. In Russia, they continue to lie to citizens, claiming that the possible reason is the seasonal rise in fuel prices and increased tourist activity. But as we can see, Ukrainian drones have proven to be much more effective than any plan of Russia's Ministry of Economic Development. Another plant was hit, the largest Russian oil refinery in the Leningrad region. The Kirishi refinery is among Russia's top 10 and processes about 21 million tons of oil per year. It produces gasoline, diesel, fuel oil, and aviation fuel. And here is the Ryazan oil refinery, a giant owned by Rosneft. It processes over 13 million tons of oil per year. Since early August, 2 units there had already been completely shut down after previous strikes, and now the entire plant is operating at half capacity. Journalists have calculated that in 2025, drones struck Russian oil refineries 38 times, and 24 of those attacks were successful. Refineries either shut down part of their units for repairs or completely stopped fuel production. Currently, 5 plants have been shut down: Kuybyshev, Novo-Kuybyshev, and Syzran. Their owner is Rosneft. The same fate befell Volgograd Lukoil and Afipsky.
The most effective sanctions are those that work the fastest. That is, fire at Russian oil refineries, at their terminals, at motor depots.
The fuel crisis was also exacerbated by Russia's budget problems, which made gasoline trading unprofitable for companies. After all, even in the remote regions of the Russian Federation, where Ukrainian drones do not yet reach, there is also a shortage of fuel. Putin does not comment on the situation at all because he is hiding it. The Kremlin can no longer provide compensation from the state budget to the companies. This year, Russia has a budget deficit. And as of today, it is already over 5 trillion rubles. Thanks to Putin, who started the war.
There is a cherry on top to celebrate the collapse of the Russian Federation. Russians have turned on Putin. Businesses are crying out for help. The Kremlin is nervous and throwing up their hands. Find out the reason right now.
It's no longer possible to keep quiet about it. Russian businesses are asking Putin to protect them from Ukrainian drones. The country's Union of Industrialists has already registered dozens of appeals from the largest enterprises in the Russian Federation, all with the same message. Because of the war with Ukraine, we are losing millions of dollars every day.
It's a massive loss.
Officials simply can no longer ignore the situation. So it was decided to send a collective appeal to Putin, and with a proposal to change the tax legislation and include compensation for losses from drone attacks. At the same time, several solutions to the problem were proposed.
The first is a tax compensation of 50% of the actual expenses for the construction or purchase of protective structures, as well as the acquisition and installation of video surveillance systems, detection, electronic warfare, repair, and restoration of production facilities. Compensation for damages to third parties and other measures.
At the same time, the letter emphasizes that enterprises suffer losses not only from direct damage but also from lost income due to work stoppages. Therefore, the next proposal from Russian top entrepreneurs is to deduct this amount from the taxes and excise duties they pay to the state budget, and in the case of prolonged shutdowns, to reduce payments to zero altogether.
It happened again. Yeah.
But the problem here is that Putin simply has no money left for such support of his own strategic enterprises. Everything is going to the war. As a result, on the night of August 28th, the Samara region and Krasnodar Krai once again came under drone attack. The strikes targeted the largest oil refineries, namely the Syzran and Kuibyshev refineries, which, by the way, had no proper protection against UAVs.
Every day now some other oil refinery is being burned down by drones, and we just sit here wondering whether we need to protect them or not. That's how Russians are. They don't just take a long time to get started. They take way too long.
At the same time, on paper, everything is as orderly as ever in the Russian leadership. They do understand the threat posed by enemy drones. Endless commissions are at work, measures are being taken.
Most of those who got hit either had nothing at all in place or were given those very anti-drone rifles, which at best can only protect you from a Mavic. So essentially it's a police system. And what are you supposed to do against a gasoline-powered drone? There's a rather significant Beaver drone carrying a substantial 15 to 20 kilograms of highly explosive material. And yes, it remarkably flies, basically, without utilizing any of those sophisticated communication systems that the electronic rifles are specifically designed and intended to effectively counter.
The result of such effective solutions didn't take long to show itself. On the morning of August 28th, after assessing the results of the night attack, the Ukrainian command came to a conclusion that in total, over the past 2 weeks, the capacity of Russian oil refining has been reduced by more than 20%, which matches the calculations by Reuters, who especially noted the strikes on Ryazan Rosneft, the Novoshakhtinsk refinery that has been burning for a week now, as well as plants in the Rostov, Samara, Saratov, and Krasnodar regions, and of course the critically important Volgograd Lukoil.
This particular plant was, in fact, the second most significant in terms of its overall production, its substantial profit, and its impressive revenue within Russia. It is among the 6 largest refineries in terms of processing capacity, and there the consequences could be quite serious.
Overall, speaking in numbers, the losses to the Russian Federation's budget currently amount to about 1,300,000 barrels of oil per day. Taking the price into account, that's about $87.5 million in losses every day. Notably, despite the reluctance to help strategic enterprises defend themselves from drones, the very threat of this danger has already become almost a separate business in Russia. For example, today, the organizers of any mass event are required to be responsible for its security as well. Therefore, they have to turn to government agencies to ensure protection from drones.
On a one-time basis. Well, let's say, for example, a small fair or a local fair or some major economic forum or something else. Obviously, these are one-off events, and perhaps only utilizing a security system for just several days to hold some important forum, a significant event, a lively festival, and so on. At the very same time,
it's not really possible to talk about permanent protection for enterprises. As for the officials' positions, the proposals to change the tax system were rejected, and the responsibility for figuring out how to protect against drones was placed on the heads of organizations and their personal initiative. After that, it seems there was a sigh of relief in Ukraine. After all, multi-million protection systems are far from affordable for most enterprises.
There are facilities that can be worked on. These are essential energy infrastructure facilities, oil refining complexes, and oil storage facilities. This also comprehensively includes essential logistics infrastructure, numerous factories, critical military sites, extensive airfields, strategic bases, and various crucial types of equipment. Up to now, there have been enough drones for all of this.
No.
What will ultimately bring down Russia? Ukrainian drones, nature, or economic collapse? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button under the video and stay up to date with the main news. We already have 465,000 subscribers. There's more to come. See you soon.